Hello again, everybody. I guess you all know who I am by now, so I won't bother with the introduction. I've got a longer one for you today, so bear with me. This one's an Exodus account, so it's like my Genesis account, but it's not broken down into chapters. It's just one long poem, but I think you should enjoy the story on the way. An Exodus account. So Israel flourished in Egypt's lands, with its fertile river and desert sands. They increased in number, mighty and strong, fruitful and numerous where they belonged. But when Joseph and all of his kin had passed, there arose a new Pharaoh of a different caste. He was threatened by Israel's size, so he began to plot and despise. He decided to enslave their entire race. Hard labour and bondage, the obvious case. They built up his cities, mortar and brick, worked dawn to dusk, healthy or sick. Under the lash of Egypt they toiled, for many long decades on foreign soil. Pharaoh decided all born sons were to die, but the daughters were spared to serve all their lives. But the midwives feared God, so this wasn't done. They spared all the boys, Israel's sons. So Pharaoh decreed that all boys be drowned. Then there would be less pesky Hebrews around. One woman, whose babe could no longer be hid, made an ark out of reeds and floated the kid. Now the sister of Pharaoh found this young man, raised him as hers, a prince of the land. Now this boy was Moses, rescued from the reeds, and he soon noticed the Hebrew needs. He observed all their hard burdens and labours. Egyptian life was doing them no favours. He saw an Egyptian beating a man, so he killed him and hid the body in the sand. But Pharaoh found out and wanted him dead, so Moses took off. To Midian he fled. In the desert he settled, worked and was married. The issues of life encountered and carried. As time passed by, the old Pharaoh died, and God heard Israel as they groaned and cried. One day as Moses tended the flock, the Lord's angel spoke, which gave him a shock. From a bush all afire he spoke with the man, and Moses replied with, "Lord, here I am." God told him to go and speak with the Pharaoh. Ask him to let God's people go. Now Moses was scared of this daunting task. What will I say? How will I ask? But God said, "Don't worry. I'll give you the words. I'll make sure your message is heard. Now go tell my people to pack up this stuff. I am who I am," is calling Pharaoh's bluff. So Moses went to Pharaoh and spoke as directed. But Pharaoh ignored him and his pleas were deflected. Many times he approached and pleaded God's case to a hard-hearted Pharaoh with a cold, stony face. So God sent plagues, one after the other, on father and son, sister and mother. All were affected across the wide land. No Egyptian had victory, none would stand. Water to blood, frogs, lice and flies, up the nose and in the mouth and in the ears and eyes. Dead cattle aplenty, boils and hail, but Pharaoh's heart hardened, no way he would fail. Locusts ate everything, and darkness was sent, but still Pharaoh would not relent. But when all the firstborn of Egypt were slain, he let them all go to end all the pain. And through all of this, Israel was protected. No one was harmed, killed or infected. God stood by his word. His people were safe, while disaster hit Egypt all over the place. Now Pharaoh was beat. He'd had quite enough. "Get out of my country and take all your stuff." They also took plunder, gold, silver and wealth, back wages for years of slavery and hell. So they fled through the desert toward the Red Sea, afraid of the Pharaoh, his wrath yet to be. And Pharaoh regretted that he let them go, and left with his army to run down the foe. But the Lord acted, all was in hand. His people would live to inherit their land. He parted the sea to allow their safe travel, and Pharaoh's plans began to unravel. Hot on the heels of Israel the army chased, down into the gap left by the waters displaced. Smelling the blood and the thrill of the slaughter, their eyes were not seeing the great walls of water. And as Israel stepped dry on the opposite bank, safe from Egypt's murderous ranks, the Lord let the sea fall back into place, and of Egypt's great army left not a trace. The Lord provided water and manna for all. As a pillar of fire he led one and all. He led them to victory against many tribes, but still they complained and felt deprived. At Mount Sinai they camped, and Moses ascended, met with God, and the law was rendered. He descended carrying 10 commandments in tow, only to find a disgraceful thing below. While Moses was gone for a very long time, the people committed a heinous crime. They had erected a golden calf, worshipped and partied, risking God's wrath. Moses saw this and threw down the tablets in anger. "Why have you done this? Do you not know the danger?" The idol was destroyed that caused indiscretion, and God plagued the people for their transgression. But they now had the law and guidelines to follow for all years hence beyond tomorrow. New tablets were made and kept in the ark, which led the people out of the dark. So through desert and lands their journey continued, all the troubles and trials of a nation renewed. To the land of promise as their goal, for many more years they continued to stroll. Thank you for listening, everybody. Please subscribe, tell your friends, and check back often for new content. Have a great day.